Here's my 12-inch TPI high velocity fan or industrial high velocity fan. One of the last good ones that they made with the oil port motor. Unfortunately, like so many companies today, TPI has fell into being a greedy company. In other words, they don't support or they don't make the oil port motors anymore. It's the same motor, but without the oil ports. The quality is still there, but the most important part of the fan no longer has what most people need. When I say most people, I'm speaking in terms of fan collectors because the average consumer don't know anything about a stinking oil port. Even if they bought it with the oil port, they wouldn't even know what that hole was about. They wouldn't even know anything about oiling it. The only thing they know is when it seizes up on them, they'll just put it out on the road somewhere, or they'll just toss it in the garbage, and next thing you know, it'll probably be discovered by a collector. And it will still work after it being seized up because the only thing it needed was oil. So I guess that would explain the reason why they quit putting the oil ports on there, because they figure the average consumer don't know nothing about the stinking oil port, except for fan collectors. Well, that's not the case with me. I don't have that problem. Both of my 12s and both of my 18s have the oil ports. This is around the time right before they decided to do away with the oil ports altogether. Because in their minds, in their hearts, they're looking at the average consumer. They're not looking at the fan collector. They probably, these people don't know anything about no fan collector. Okay, they don't know anything about us. They're trying to look at the target people that would actually buy these machines all the time, and most of the time it's just the average consumer. Somebody that just need a fan for the barn, or need a fan for the industrial area, or need it for their room. They're not all into knowing everything about the motor and that it needs to be oiled every 3 to 6 months and clean it up and do videos of it. They're not fan collectors like we are. So they don't care. If it seizes up on them, they'll just think, oh, this thing broke on me, it don't work. They don't know crap about oiling it. They're just going to take it and toss it out. They're the average consumer. And that's what the companies want, because they figure they're not up on oiling it. They figure they'll just toss it and give it away or throw it away and spend their hard-earned money on buying another one when the only thing they have to do was oil it. And that's kind of what the companies today depend on. They don't really care about us or the product anymore like they used to back in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and perhaps the early 2000s. They don't care anymore. Okay? And that's why all these fans today are garbage and they don't last long. But people like Jordan and Tory and Esky and John Moe 321, now mostly fans 0320, people like that, 321, they know how to split the motors open and oil the bearings and the stators and all that stuff and put it back together. But then you got the people like me that don't want to go through all that trouble and don't even care to do that, that prefer to have oil ports. Well, on certain fans in the collection, I don't have that problem, but for most fans, I do. That's just the way it is. That being said, I'm not going to ramble on. I'm going to go ahead and run the fan now. Here we go. And there you go. Spin down time is pretty decent. These are still good fans. Just because they don't make the oil ports anymore, that don't mean give up on TPI and stop supporting the fans. Don't do that to them. They're just got their minds on the average consumer. They don't have their minds on fan collectors and people that know about that stuff. So that don't mean give up on them. That don't mean write them off. That don't mean talk bad about them. They're a good company. They're probably one of the last good companies out there today making decent fans. Thanks for watching. God bless you and go. Lamont the Fan Man and out.